Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to what is this one called?
I don't know, Nerdcast or something?
Nerdcast.
I have no idea.
Welcome to the Nerdcast. I will be your Jedi for this excursion through discussion, and we have Kurt here eating the driest chicken nuggets that Margaret Thatcher's vagina could produce.
So Zach went to Disneyland.
I did. I went to Disneyland. That was pretty great. I can talk about that a bit real quick.
Yeah,
I don't want to make it too long of a Disney discussion. I went to California Adventure. I haven't been there since they did a bunch of changes.
Is it a different? You have to pay a different price for every park.
There's park hopper, so you can go to both parks. But yeah, you have to pay.
Which one's Star Wars Land in?
Disneyland.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, but they're putting the Marvel Avengers Academy in the California Adventure, so that's supposed to be like. It's not gonna be as big. It looks like as Star Wars Land, but it still looks like kind of cool. So we'll see how that turns out. It's interesting that's in California Adventure. But I did go.
Tell us about it.
Sorry.
Tell us about Star Wars.
Okay,
Land.
You just go straight to Star Wars Land.
Okay, fine. Tell me about the whole thing. Tell me about your whole trip.
I don't want to do the whole trip, but I finally tried the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. I was pretty impressed with that because it used to be the Tower of Terror, which was like Twilight Zone, which I liked it, even though Twilight Zone is kind of an old intellectual property.
When I went to Disneyland, it was just like a haunted house, but that was like when I was.
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah, it used to be like that. Now they had like a Rocket Raccoon animatronic, and he's trying to break you out of this like facility, and then it's like you know the ride. You go like up and down on like kind of like an elevator thing. It's fucking crazy fast. So if you don't like fast rides, don't go on that. I didn't know you could drink in California Adventure. They just have stands, and you just buy alcohol. So I was like, oh fuck, because Disneyland you can't drink. So I was like, oh, okay.
Were people like smashed there?
No, I don't think I saw anybody smashed. The drinks are fucking like $10 each too.
No.
But, yeah, I don't know. That was pretty cool.
$10 American?
Yeah.
Oof.
There's not much to say about California Adventure. I think it's a lot better than it used to be. They have Cars Land in there and stuff. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
Star Wars Land.
Okay, let's go to Disneyland. Okay, Disneyland. Fucking great. So there's a new ride called Rise of the Resistance, and you need to get into an app in order to ride it. So it opens at 8 a.m. the boarding groups, and if you're not in that app by 8:01, and you have a boarding group, you're not gonna ride that ride for the day. So 8 to 8:01, that's your gap to fucking ride. So the first day we got in, and we were like, every day they promised to do boarding groups up to 84. Like, so if you're in boarding group like 1 to 84, and each boarding group's like 6 people. So yeah, so then we didn't get in because we were at 89, and like the ride I guess was broken till like 12 that day, so like it didn't get us in before the park closed. But the next day it was like a Friday, and it's even more packed on a Friday at Disneyland. Go figure. And I think it was a long weekend, so they had a holiday. So there's just crowds of people, and everybody's on their fucking phone trying to get into this app. No. So we got in, and we luckily got boarding group number 50. We're good, so we got to go on that ride. That ride is fucking amazing.
Oh, okay, so it's worth.
It is so worth it. It's like a 15-minute ride, and it's like being in the movie, as much as you can be like with a ride in terms of like immersion. I don't want to ruin it too much, but it's like
the best ride you've ever been on.
Yeah, it's a trackless roller coaster for part of it.
Like actually, like number one.
Yeah, it might be the number one ride I've ever been on.
What's like a close second?
It depends what you like. If you like roller coaster stuff, I really like Space Mountain.
Okay.
I really like Star Tours.
I think I was too young to go on Space. Oh no, I think I forgot. Yeah. I don't remember.
It's the one that's dark, and you can only see like lights.
I think I was too young. I don't think I've ever been on it.
Oh, okay, it's really fun. So like you basically, I'm not gonna ruin the whole ride, but you're in like a giant group with a bunch of other boarding groups, and then you get on this ship, and they're flying you with the Rebellion or whatever, and then your ship, they use a tractor beam and they pull you into like a Star Destroyer with the First Order, and basically the door opens and there's like, you know, the Nazi looking fucking people. And then there's just a giant, it looks like you're in the Death Star. And there's just a room full of stormtroopers. Like at least like 30 stormtroopers. I guess they're animatronic and they're just standing there. But it was so cool. And then they put you in a jail and you get broken out of jail and then you go on the roller coaster part. And then after that, there's still more stuff. But it was so cool. The animatronics are amazing. I don't know how they do this effect where the stormtroopers are shooting at you and it looks like the lasers like put a hole in the wall. I don't know how they did that, but it looks so cool. So that was a really fun ride. You only get to ride it once, which is the shitty part. You could tell it's in beta because like when you're on it, there's like empty cars going a lot, and like there's a giant, like getting into this place is so long. Like you could tell they're preparing for lineups, but for now they're just kind of using this app to beta test it. But that was really fun. Star Wars.
I know why beta testing. I think it's funny to say because it's like I associate beta testing with video games.
It kind of seemed like that.
That's
though.
what I'm saying, right? It's like now like rides are so.
Now it's like a real thing.
Yeah, like game techno. You know.
Yeah, still okay. Star Wars Land. So we also had not an appointment, but a reservation for the cantina. You need to get a reservation. And it's the only place in Disneyland you can drink, and it's a 2-drink maximum. So you go in, and like they brought us in at our time, and then it's not very big. And then they're like, oh, they're in character, and they're like, oh, it's a pretty rough bar. You're gonna have to try to force your way up to the bar. I was like, oh, we can't get like a table and stuff. And at the time, all the tables were taken. So then, like, I guess we go up to the bar and then we get a drink, and everything looks cool. And there's like a robot DJ and shit. It's pretty funny. But it baffles me they didn't make this cantina bigger. Like everyone wants to go to this thing. Like make it big. Like it's so tiny. And then I got a drink at the bar, and then I was like, okay, there's a table to open up. Let's go to the table. So I go there, and they're like, oh, did you buy the drinks at the table? I was like, no. Why? And they're like, oh, you have to buy the drinks at the table in order to sit at the table with your drink. And I was like, yeah, but I wanted a table when I got here, but you didn't have any, and you didn't give me one. I thought that was the point of the reservation, you know? Like, yeah. So then that was so fucking stupid. So we're like, I had literally one drink. I was like, I'm going to leave. This is stupid. That's the one part of Star Wars Land I was like, this is lame. And there's kids running around in the bar too, so I was like, this is fucking weird to me. You know, I get it's Disneyland and like whatever the parent needs to have a fucking drink or something.
The strategy is you can only get one guy really trashed.
Yeah, right.
Everybody orders drinks,
pitches in,
but you give it to that one guy.
Yeah, maybe that might be how to do it.
It's the only way you can do it.
Yeah,
only much. One guy. You spin the wheel, you draw straws, whatever you got to do. One guy gets to be smashed.
Yeah. So I went on this trip. These lightsabers are expensive, and I was already like, I can't get a lightsaber in my budget. So, it's fine. I was cool with it. But Star Wars Land is so cool. There's like little hidden secrets, and I was like, there's like a shop, and it's like, oh, there's the Mandalorian's helmet. Oh, there's the robot that gets shot in Mandalorian, and he still has the gun wound in his head. And there's like lots of little trinkets and shit. So that was really cool. And then there's another ride, which is like the main ride everyone can go on. It's Smuggler's Run. And basically, you go on the Millennium Falcon, and it's like a simulator. So there's 6 people, so 2 of them get to fly, 2 of them get to shoot, and then 2 of them are engineers that like repair and shoot grappling hooks and shit. Honestly, the ride is.
What did you get? What did you do?
The first time I did the gunner. All you do is press a button though. Really, you press you gotta shoot a bomb and you press some buttons.
Did you figure out what
but
all
also,
the other ones you get to do?
The people that drove us were. This really old couple, which is like I get it. You want to go on the ride, but like the ride can go longer based on how well you fly, and not like destroy your ship. So they kept fucking crashing into everything, and then like fuck. Wow. So we barely got to do anything in that ride. And then the next time round, I got to fly it. So me and my girlfriend, one gets to go up and the other gets to go sideways. So me and her were flying it, and I noticed it was way longer. Yeah. It's still really fucking hard to do that shit. But yeah, it was super fun. Like the simulator's good, but like after a while, the ride is like it's good, but I don't know, it gets stale after a bit. So I liked it a lot, but at the same time, I was like, it's a lot of the similar stuff each time. I wish there was like more planets. Maybe there is. I just didn't see it, but both times it was like the same planet we were on pretty much. So that was cool. Yeah. Anyway, so it was like the last night at Disneyland. and we're in Star Wars Land. It was like 9 p.m. and my girlfriend's like, okay, I was gonna surprise you, but like I reserved you a lightsaber, like to build your own lightsaber. And I was like, what the fuck? So she sprung that on me like at the very end of our trip. So that was very nice of her. So then you get to go. Basically, you have to wait in like a lobby area, not a lobby area, like outside this weird building, and it looks like a workshop. And even everyone's in character, and they're like, "Yeah, no, there's nothing here," you know, like they're pretending like it's nothing. And then someone like low key is like, "Okay, here's the 4 different lightsaber types you can make." I made the Sith lightsaber hilt.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different pieces for every section. There's one that's like ancient looking, like old kind of. There's one that's like classic Jedi look, and then there's like another kind of like more like ceremonial looking one. But yeah, so I chose the Sith. I got a purple crystal originally, but I got a green crystal separately that I put in.
So it's pretty heavy.
It's pretty heavy. It's actually like you felt that. Like,
yeah, it's very heavy.
It's
and after playing playing Fallen Order,
yeah,
like I kind of recognize, like especially this part.
Apparently,
I remember
the pieces in Fallen Order
same, right?
are the same as the ones at this thing.
So it looks very familiar. Yeah.
So yeah, they bring you to the front of the shop, and then they open a secret door, and you go in, and they're like, "This is like an undercover Jedi thing, and you guys are gonna become Jedi." So then like they go piece by piece, and they're like, "What's your hilt?" And you had to choose your hilt, and like, "What's this top part?"
Did your girlfriend get one or no?
No, I mean they're expensive, and she doesn't care that much about Star Wars, so it's just for me. But then, you choose your crystals and stuff, and they're like the green crystal, so like Yoda and Luke Skywalker once used, and Qui-Gon, and then they're like, and then the red one, and then the room goes red, and they're like, the red one, it's for power and blah blah blah, and all that stuff. And
everybody's like red.
Yeah, yeah, right. And I was like, I want that pimp purple.
What's
crystal.
that one?
They're like, oh, this is like Mace Windu, like.
Period.
That's literally it. I was like, yeah, I want that lame one. So I got that, and then
what
like
did they do for the yellow one?
They didn't. They only had the 4 colors, so it was blue, green, purple, red.
Oh.
And then in order to get the separate colors, like yellow, white, and
white.
I think that's it.
That'd be cool.
Those are the other.
Who has a white one?
Asaka from the Clone Wars and stuff. Asuka? I can't fucking say her name. I don't know. I never watched that stuff. Sorry. Also, I was thinking like the white one just looks like you have like, just like
yeah, I know.
a light.
I know.
Anyways, I'm gonna get a red one eventually. But so yeah, then you assemble your lightsaber and everyone like lifts it up. And then
you have to.
And then you have to do it.
What if you don't?
You don't have. Like I don't know. There's times
they'll be like, come on.
There's times where I was like, I feel so dorky, but I was just like, I want to be a Jedi. But at one point, like the room goes green, and then Yoda like force talks through to you. He's like, "You lightsaber you make, a Jedi you must be." Anyway, so yeah, it's a cool little like show, I guess, that they put on.
I think there's a lot of effort. I think it's just because my image is when I was like 8 years old or whatever. Yeah. And just like Disneyland was great then.
Yeah.
But like much has changed.
I like
since
Disneyland more now.
Yeah, because of Star Wars Land.
And not only that is like as I'm older, I've looked into more stuff, and I have way more appreciation for how the people made these rides. Because like Walt Disney literally went up to his animators and stuff and be like, "Hey, you're gonna make Pirates of the Caribbean," and he's like, "What the fuck? I've never made a ride before. This has never been done." So then like suddenly you have like these designers and animators and engineers all working together to try to design like working animatronics.
And I'm sure everybody listening
making the immersion
probably knows this, but Pirates of the Caribbean was a ride first, right?
Yeah, I did. Same with Haunted Mansion.
It was a ride, guys.
Yeah, same with Jungle Cruise. That's coming out.
Jungle Cruise is a movie now?
It's got The Rock. It's coming out soon. And guess what? He plays the same character he always plays.
Yeah. That's why you get The Rock.
Yep. He's snarky and he's jacked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is why they get the Rock. So yeah, no. I mean, the rest of Disneyland. I mean, you've probably heard about it. Like Peter. Okay, one thing I do want to talk about, and then we'll get on the Disneyland talk. What's it called? So I went on I haven't been on these like storybook rides since I was a really young kid.
That's all I remember.
Yeah, like Peter Pan and like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I realize every single one of those rides it's all happy, and then at the end it becomes fucking dark as fuck. Like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, it's like, oh, you're going through England, blah blah blah, and then you're sentenced and you're guilty, and then you're hit by a train and you go through hell, and that's the end of the ride. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. And then I was like, surely that's not the only one. Or this is the only one. And then it's like Peter Pan gets very dark at the end. And then it's like Pinocchio, these kids are like locked in cages and shit. And I'm like, what's going on? And then we go on Winnie the Pooh. I'm like, this must be fine. Winnie the Pooh, you go on a psychedelic fucking trip at the end of it. And he's like tripping acid like crazy. I'm like, what the fuck is up with these rides? What was wrong with these 70s animators? But yeah, I don't know. It's this weird realization. Being like, this is like the most fucking coked out mushroom ideas I've ever seen.
What about Small World?
I didn't go on that one. I know.
Sacrilege.
I know.
How could you?
I don't know.
How could you go to Disneyland and not go to Small World?
I couldn't bring myself to do it. I should have gone on it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like the roller coasters and stuff. They're fun, but
so the rowdiest ride in all of it, California Adventure Ride, is just that one that goes like that.
The roller coaster?
Yeah. Right?
I would say the roller coaster and the Guardians of the Galaxy are both pretty rowdy rides.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. The roller coaster used to just be like just a California roller coaster, but now it's Incredibles themed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, right. Everything's getting themed now.
Yeah.
The Cars ride's pretty fun too. Actually, it goes pretty fast. They pretty much recreated the town from Cars in that park.
I don't watch Cars.
Yeah, I actually just rewatched the first one yesterday.
It's good?
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
I don't like Cars or NASCAR or anything like that, but
yeah.
That movie has like a good message, and I actually enjoyed the characters. So
yeah,
surprising.
Interesting.
Yeah, we can get in a whole different discussion on Pixar and stuff, man. See, like Monsters University as a sequel, I think is really good. It has a good message behind it, which is like, if you don't go to university or college, and you can still work your way up and stuff, and find success. I think that's a great message. But then you get Finding Dory, and it's like, okay, this is just a stupid fish for 2 hours. I don't need this.
Everybody loves Dory.
I fucking hate Dory.
Because she's dumb.
Finding Nemo is a great movie.
But she's
sweet. That's one of the best Pixar movies. But Finding Dory is just like, it feels unnecessary. Anyways, I'm getting on my rants. Yeah, have you played any of it? You've been playing Dragon Quest. Tell me more about Dragon Quest.
I'm playing Dragon Quest. I'm like 50 hours in, roughly.
Damn. I know a bunch of people playing that. I think it's just because it went to the Switch not too long ago.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the most JRPG of any, like the most hours I've put into one JRPG ever, I think.
Okay.
Like I always like the idea of JRPGs. Like I want to be a hardcore Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
But every time and it's funny because one of the ones I actually legitimately tried when I was a child was Final Fantasy 12, the one that was.
Okay, that's a tough one to get into.
That's what I mean. It's like I was so hyped because I thought I looked at the art.
Really good.
I
for
thought
a
it.
PS2 game.
Yeah, like I thought it was sick when I was a kid. Like the trailers and stuff.
The story is so convoluted. It's like
they said it's kind of like Star Wars.
It's like Star Wars, like Phantom Menace level.
Yeah, and then
politics.
And then you play it, and it has that crazy battle system where it's like you have to program the.
It's kind of cool if you're like what you're getting into.
But I didn't know what I was getting into, and then I
as a kid too. Like I remember playing that game and be like,
difficult.
"This is a lot." Like because I would be like, you could literally program for it's like, okay, if you're fighting an ice character, then you can make your guy do this instead, or it's like, oh, you can make this person like if their party member below 50, they'll heal them automatically and like.
But then stay in the back.
Yeah, exactly. It's like in theory that sounds super interesting and stuff, but like when you're actually playing like as a child, kid, it's like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I think that game to this day still looks pretty good. Like the towns. I'm
gonna try to replay it after. Like hopefully, this is my hope is that after playing Dragon Quest, it shoots me into playing all the JRPGs that I want to play.
The world is really cool.
Like I want to play Final Fantasy 12, and then I want to play Ni no Kuni. Those are the next two on my list. Ni no Kuni is fun.
Ni no Kuni.
It got like universal like acclaim.
It did. Too. And when I first played, I was like, "This is a fucking kids game." And I love Studio Ghibli, but this was like very much so. I'm like, oh, "This is very kiddie." But as you go, it's like, "Oh, this gets a lot better." Like it just gets better and better. So yeah, I'm excited for you to try that and hear about it. I didn't hear much about the sequel that came out.
I heard it was good as well, but I think a lot of people generally the first one was received a little bit better.
You need Mr. Drippy, man.
The little
guy
yellow
with the
guy
lantern in front on a nose piercing.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same guy. Is it the little yellow dude?
Yeah, he's a little yellow dude.
And he's got like
he's got like a septum piercing. Oh, that's a lantern.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got a big nose.
Okay, yeah.
He's got to have something to put that thing in.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like I was saying before, what I like about Dragon Quest is that it's kind of like what's the term, like ease of whatever, like
I know it's easily accessible,
kind of, but like it's there's never it's never too hard to figure out what you're supposed to be doing.
That's good.
For one, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, if you're lost, you can talk to your party members and they'll give you a hint.
That's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like, for example, there's one part where they're like, you got to find all these crystals or whatever to like make it to the next point.
I see developers doing that more.
Yeah, and then they're like, and then
big games,
and like that's one of the parts where they're like, just explore the world and find the crystals, and I'm like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? And then I remember them always saying, you know, in the screen, whatever, they're always like, hey, if you're ever lost, just talk to your party members and they'll give you a hint, and you're like, okay, well, now I'll do that. And they're like, hey, maybe we should check out this place. And you're like, yeah, okay, let's go there. Right?
Exactly, yeah. That's good, because I remember playing like PS3 era games, and you drop in and you're like, I don't know what I fucking did months ago.
Yeah, and then
but like now I see modern games and it's like it's a really big game, and then they'll be like, here's where you are in the story, or like you're saying your character.
That's what they do in Dragon Quest as well. It's like when you come back, every time you come back, there's a few screens that are just text that they're just like, so you went to the Mermaid Queen and she gave you the crystal, and now you're gonna go find whatever.
I talked about this on another podcast we did, but like The Witcher did that, and I was really appreciative because I was like, I haven't played this game in years and I don't want to restart it, so I went back in my save file and I was like, oh, okay, so tell me where I am in the story. Cool.
Yeah. It's, you know what I've realized too is Dragon Quest. I haven't played any other Dragon Quest. Like I said, I don't play that many JRPGs, even though I want to. But playing it, like the story and the feel of it to me, is sort of like I don't know. It's kind of like One Piece ish, sort of, in the sense of like. But it's just classic anime of like a crew on an adventure and like whatever, and it's like, and that's what like I love about it. It's like you're a crew and you're on an adventure, and you're exploring the world, and then you know like I know I always love that stuff. Like that's why I like One Piece so much, and it feels like that, but you're like playing it. Like it made me think of like, why don't they make all animes that are like that into a game that looks like Dragon Quest?
Yeah,
like why don't they make One Piece
totally
right? You could just make it like RPG is such a good template. For like, you know what I mean? Because
I think they're for the reason I feel like it hasn't been done much is because
I think they're harder to make than you think too.
Also, there's been a lull in JRPGs for a while.
I can see that.
I'm starting to see a resurgence again, but there was a period where everyone's like, I don't want to play fucking turn-based anything. After like I think Final Fantasy X, I didn't see that anymore really as much. Yeah. Or if there was, it wasn't as critically acclaimed or
that's like, true actually, you know? Now that I think about it wouldn't be like a big seller, like I gotta get the next turn-based
strategy. And that's why you see like things like Final Fantasy 15 try to come up with like a new system, like and then people are like
hack and slashy,
people are like whatever. But and now it's funny because you know they have that Final Fantasy 7 remake coming out, which is going to be like hack and slash, but you can literally there's going to be a feature where you can turn it back into turn-based, which is cool. I think I'm excited for that remake, but this is the first game in a while that's like a JRPG. It's turn-based, right?
Yeah.
That I've heard everybody like give resounding acclaim for, you know. That.
I don't know why. Maybe I feel like to me it is because of that like I forgot, a quality of life. That's what it is. Quality of life things that they do like helps so much. Like for example, like if you want to heal all your members because they're like, you know, everybody's at varying health, whatever, you can just hit a button and then the button will heal them automatically in the most efficient way possible. So like instead of you going and making your one mage heal each person and you deciding like should I use max heal or minimum heal to make it, you just hit a button, they'll do it automatically for you. Like just little things like that, like or on the map, like you know, like
they take them the mundane shit out of it.
Yeah, like you know, like there's secrets on the map. You know what I mean? Like little sparkly,
Yeah.
they call them sparkly spots. And
Oh.
those are where there's like, you can pick up, you know, like materials and stuff.
I see.
And then
Yeah, see, it's
they on the map, they show you where they are kind of. So you can run, so instead of you trying to find the chests, they don't show you where they are on the map. So there's still some secret stuff you can find.
I would be happy with that. I
But
don't want
yeah,
to show me everything.
but it's not too like, you know, like I don't know, that quality of life stuff, like I don't know, for me goes a long way,
Yeah.
it seems like, with this, like I don't know, when I'm playing
How
it.
big is the map? Is it really big?
It's like the whole like the
Yeah,
whole
the whole
everything.
game.
It's pretty fucking big, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, there's so many areas and there's so many, and then, that's the thing,
Yeah.
is you can teleport to any campsite or anywhere you've been. Almost, you can kind of teleport anywhere.
Oh, cool.
And then and then forging. I love, actually, like this is like one of the first games. Again, I don't play that many JRPGs and stuff like that. Like usually in any RPG shit, I don't really like forging stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't like making things. I kind of just buy shit.
Yeah.
I'll just grind to get the money, get the experience, and then pay for things.
Yeah, for sure.
But this game, they made like forging stuff pretty easy.
Nice.
And like finding the materials, you kind of just find, if you hit all the sparkly spots, eventually you'll probably get enough materials.
It's
and you
funny.
can just make shit. And then any campsite
Yeah.
has, you carry the forge with you, so at any time you don't have to go to like the blacksmith.
Yeah.
You know.
It's funny how, like, you know, back in the day, like PS2 and that era, it's like, oh, I can't wait till games get bigger. Like, imagine a world, like a super open world game, blah, 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 and it's going to be amazing. And now it's like, I feel like for a lot of people, that's a factor. They're like, oh, I don't know if I should get that game. Because I feel like we just have, maybe it's just our age range, just like we have less time in our life. It's like, oh, 70-hour game. I don't know if I can do that. Also, like, materials, like you're talking about. Like, I used to be like, oh, I want more and more customization. You know, I can't wait till, like, the day, you know, like, I can get this herb and this thing and this area, and I can combine so much shit, and there's just endless possibilities. And then it's like, I'm playing a game like Witcher, which the one thing I was like, oh, I don't know. There's, like, so many materials, and I'm like, I don't, that's too much for me, you know, like.
Yeah.
I remember Phantom Pain had, like, 5 different materials I could get, and I was like, that's good for me, you know. There's enough customization.
That's always been like a weird balance for me, because like I was saying, in general, I don't like doing that stuff. It's like, that's what made me not like the second Tomb Raider. Whatever, Rises, whatever. The second
Shadow.
I forgot. Yeah, like the first one I loved. I killed
Stop
that
using
game.
Shadow in titles.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then the second one that came out also got really good reviews. So I'm like, oh, this is exciting. I love the first one.
Yeah.
But then that one, they turned into like, if you run out of arrows, they try to teach you how to, like, you get the branches and then put the branches with the rock, and then the rock, you can make arrows. And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
everything you kind of have to like make and create like shit. And I'm like, I don't know, I didn't really like. Before you just kind of
cool, but it's also tedious.
It's so tedious.
You know?
I was like, fuck, I don't know. I didn't really want to.
Can I just press a button that says manufacture arrow or whatever, create arrow?
Yeah, or like before they would it'd be like Halo, you just find it on the floor.
Oh yeah.
So, like, why can't I just take his arrows?
Yeah,
right?
like, Ocarina of Time style. You just pick it up.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I forgot. Oh yeah, there's something about like when you're mentioning like the big games and stuff like that. Like, I guess I have that thing about, you know, when they're like, give the player choice.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, like the player doesn't always know what they want. You know what I mean? That's a whole other thing that I would write. I would write a thing about.
Yeah.
Whereas like just because you're giving them a choice doesn't mean it's a good game necessarily.
Yes.
It's a tool that can be used in like a good, like you have to make a good balance of it, because there's some things that are like, you can make a game that has like no choice where you're forced to do these certain things, but it can still be a great game because you force these moments where they have to do this challenging thing.
For sure.
Whereas like if you give them the option to do whatever else that we were talking about, this like stealth or some shit, then you might accidentally make them avoid the whole point that was fun about the game. It's like, why would you engage with the enemy if you could just stealthily walk through it? But then the game conversely becomes not very fun, because you're like, well, I might as well just stealth through the whole thing, and then you don't actually play the game because they're trying to give you choice to stealth or something like that, right?
It does open a whole different can of worms.
It does. That's a big
because
podcast.
There are games that I feel like pull that off
really well.
Games that I think like you said, they kind of missed the point, you know?
Yeah.
Like a game like Phantom Pain, it just felt like a Metal Gear like theme park in a way. Like it just like it set me free, and it's like you could stealth, or you could literally run in and fucking gun everybody down.
Like you have to play
get
test
a tank, you know,
to make sure that like every path that they might choose will be fun.
Exactly.
Which is kind of like Skyrim's like that.
Or
right? Like whatever you decide to do in Skyrim, most of the time it's fun. And that's what made Skyrim so good. Exactly. Whereas a lot of games that have so much choice, but you might pick the wrong choice, and then it was a great option because it's of all the millions of options, but it wasn't like fun. Yeah. So like it's a delicate balance, I think.
Exactly, yeah. Or like sorry?
Coming up on time.
Oh, okay. the new Zelda, just briefly, like I felt that was one of the games where it's like just sets you free. And it's like, okay, do what you want, but
almost whatever you do, yeah.
But the focus on the game wasn't even narrative. It was like this is the physics engine, and you just fuck around with that. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
In a way, there's a bit of like you can't go here and do this, but like most of it's like go whichever direction you want, figure it out. And I felt like they handled that well. Anyways, you've been watching Zach and Kurt and Zach. We're here. We're talking culture. I got a lightsaber. Life is good. Thanks for watching.